Hello, and welcome back to Gin and Talk. Yana, what is today's topic?
Yes, today's topic is all about how to properly taste gin.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Love tasting gin.
I love tasting gin. So, Jesse, do you have the first step for us? What's the important step here?
First, most important step is pouring the gin into the glass.
Boom.
But yeah, you want to have the proper type of glass. I mean, you can use really a lot of different styles of glassware, but preferably something a little bit more open.
Yeah.
So you can use either like a large wine glass.
Yes.
Right here we have our little signature Atlas coupettes here. Cheers.
Cheers.
And a rocks glass can work as well.
Yeah.
You want something not so like narrow
Yeah.
coming up to the nose because of the higher proof ABV in spirits.
Nice. Okay, so what is the next step? Now we have the proper glassware, we have the gin.
Yeah.
Do I swirl like I do with wine, or?
You definitely can.
Yeah?
So we can give it a little swirl here. It's not going to hurt anything. It will kind of open it up a little bit as some of the ABV evaporates. Also, you do get the legs on it. So if you're familiar with wine tasting, it's that those little lines, those drips that go down. They tend to show the alcohol content, which is obviously much higher in spirits. The slower it drips down, the higher the ABV.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, what's next?
So next is the nose.
Okay.
You got your nose ready?
I got my nose ready.
Okay, beautiful. So I think this is the big difference when it comes to tasting beers and wines compared to spirits.
Yeah.
So this isn't just for gin, but spirits in general. So what you're going to want to do is take the glass and put it up to your nose, but instead of breathing in through your nose, breathe in through your mouth. And you should really get the subtlety of the aroma. It might even make your salivate a little bit on the palate.
Yeah.
So Yana, what do you look for when nosing a gin?
So when I'm nosing gin, I tend to look for aromas that will really stand out, like citrus notes, floral, earthy, and the nose can actually affect what you are tasting as well. It can really suggest what you're about to taste. And sometimes with nosing, what you smell is not going to be what you taste as well. So it's very complex and and it's a very interesting thing to segue into tasting your gin, right? So after we nose and we pick up the aromas, what do we do next?
Well, taste, certainly. But there's one last little trick.
Yeah.
So the first sip, you actually want to shock your palate.
Okay.
So the first sip isn't really the tasting sip per se.
Okay.
It's more just to acclimate your palate to the alcohol content. So I would say the first sip, just go ahead and sip it back. So after that first sip, your palate should be ready to actually get some more of the nuance of the flavor.
Okay.
So cheers, since we didn't do that last time. So now on the second sip, we can kind of play around, roll it around the palate.
Citrusy.
Very citrusy.
Yeah.
Tastes like orange.
Oranges, I get that a lot.
Orange blossom.
Yeah, maybe
Yes.
a bit of Valencia in here as well.
Do you think this could be the Atlas Orange Gin?
I think so.
Beautiful. All right,
It probably is.
We are tasting the Atlas Orange Gin, which has both Valencia orange blossom as well as orange peel, not to mention dill, cucumber, coriander, cardamom, lime, grapefruit, among many others. Delicious product from St. George Spirits in the Bay Area in California.
Jesse, what are the sort of flavors that you look for on the palate when you're tasting?
Yeah, so flavors is one part.
Yeah.
I think flavors, also the weight and texture, as well as sensation. Flavors, the first question you asked, I think is probably the most important because that's how we define, right? Like flavor profile is how we define and categorize.
Yeah.
So similar to the nose, I would say you can really taste a lot of citrus or earthiness or floral or spice. I would also say the texture is very important, and that's where the actual base distillate or NGS, or that vodka that we talked about in what is gin, really plays a big part.
Yeah.
So that will be, sometimes it's like really long lasting and coating on the palate.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's like a really clean, easy finish. Sometimes like like it's really high ABV. It just has that really heavy,
Yeah.
like almost like like
Yeah,
kind of a punch,
in
you
your
know?
face,
Exactly. And then last is sensation, which there are some gins that use things like Szechuan peppercorn, right?
Yes,
and,
yeah.
and kind of give you like a numbing, tingling. There's other examples of this type of sensation, not to be redundant, but yeah, I think that's like a three-part, a three-headed monster, if you will.
Yeah.
The first of which being the flavor profile.
Yeah, that's cool. All right, Jesse, now that we've broken down how to taste gin, how about we do this exercise together and see if we've really knocked it down?
Yeah, definitely. So if you want to do this with us at home right now, first get your glass, pour your gin, swirl it around, up to the nose, breathe in through the mouth, first sip straight back, second sip, swirl it around on the palate.
Citrusy.
And that's how you taste gin. We'll see you next time on Gin and Talk.
Yes, so please like and subscribe, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
Ciao.
And action. All right, Jesse.
Wait, I wasn't ready.